Well, hey there everybody, Aaron here. Welcome to another episode of Gideon's Tactical. Today I have a Schrade folder that I would say is the top of the line that they're producing right now in early 2015. I have for us to check out, do a full field test and EDC review for you on the Schrade SCH602TI. This is their D2 steel model with titanium handles. So, I mean, we're looking at some premium materials here. So today, we're gonna really see what Schrade is producing kind of at their top of the line products for 2015 in the folder department. And we're gonna see how this baby performs, both pros and cons. And at the end of the video, I hope to kind of point you in the right direction on whether or not this is gonna be a good purchase for you. So with that being said, let's start looking at the Schrade SCH602TI. All right, guys, let's go ahead and give you a couple basic specs here on this knife. Let's go ahead and look at the blade first. We got a D2 steel blade, really nice steel there with a hollow grind. It's got a very classic drop point design. This is the plain edge version. You're gonna have a blade length of 3.4 inches. Very nice there, unsharpened swedge. Good coating. It's kind of a titanium style coating, kind of that flat gray look, and it's holding up really well. This knife has seen already a lot of use. Really put it through the ringer, and you can barely tell it looks brand new. I mean, it's really holding up well, particularly with the coating on that edge. Then what you have here is a handle length of 4.5 inches. It's gonna weigh in at 4.4 ounces according to my scale. And you have a tip up, tip down pocket clip. We'll talk about that in a little bit. And then it is a titanium handle with pillar construction. Good jimping, manual folder. So that is the knife that we are looking at. Let's go ahead and keep moving along with this review. All right, guys, got to give you the carry option rating here on this Schrade. And I got to show you here, really nice pocket clip. Really like that a lot. Not too bad on the ride. You're going to get probably about 3/4 of an inch sticking up out of your pocket. You can see that the lanyard hole is very accessible right there. Very easy to grab with how they've kind of made those grooves in the titanium handle. Very easy for you to pull the blade out. And here's the awesome part. Loving this. Tip up, tip down option. Love that. So it is tip up, tip down. Sorry, nothing for you lefties out there yet. Hopefully that'll be the next step for Schrade, is to start giving us even a third, attachment over here. And the other thing to note is they send 2 pocket clips with you depending on the style that you want. And you can see here it also has this little seat with a little piece of titanium or steel that they have, so you can bolt that in. I don't really know why they did that, but those are the bolts for there, those are the bolts for there, and then you decide which pocket clip you want and tip up, tip down. So that is great. So I'm going to give it an overall rating, guys, for this knife of 4 out of 5 on the pocket clip. Definitely an upgrade over a lot of the other pocket clips we've seen from Schrade, giving you only tip down as an option and no other, option at all. So very solid, 4 out of 5 on the carry option rating for this knife. All right, guys, let's go ahead and look at the handle here, and I'm going to give you the ergonomic rating. The ergonomic rating is 5 out of 5. Very nice handle. I'm really pleased with it. Because of the titanium handles, means that it's not only got that kind of level of premium to the blade, but it also means that it's going to cut down on weight, and that's why you can get this style of blade with, titanium pieces of steel, or, not steel, but, big slabs of titanium, and not have to worry about weight so much. Very, very nice etching in here, the whole length of the handle. I really like that a lot. Definitely helps with some traction. It's not sharp or painful anywhere on this blade. All the handle edges are rounded, nice and smooth. There's no uncomfortability. I wear large size gloves. My hand can get a really good grip there on the knife, which is really nice. Great set of jimping with a very gradual thumb ramp. I don't like knives that have, a really aggressive thumb ramp. This has just a very slight thumb ramp. Good jimping, not too aggressive, and not too weak either. It's going to give me a really good lockup. My thumb rests perfectly right there in place. It just feels very good. Got a little bit of a slight groove right there for my index finger. Plenty of room to spare. Feels just really good in hand. The frame lock and the pocket clip aren't going to get in the way either. Just a very, very good handle design. I mean, Schrade is definitely stepping their game up. Every single time I see a new knife from Schrade, I can tell that they're trying to improve upon their last design. And that's a really cool thing to see in the knife community and in a knife company. So I really like that a lot about Schrade. So this handle, phenomenal, 5 out of 5 on the ergonomics. All right, guys, let's go ahead and look at the deployment here. I'm kind of torn. It's 50-50. The good thing first. The good thing is that it has awesome thumb studs. I'm a big fan of thumb studs on either side, well pronounced, away from the handle scales. You can see there they stick up really nice. Very easy for you to grab. They're not uncomfortable. You can easily deploy the blade. I really like that a lot. Very, very good placement on the thumb studs. So that's the plus. The negative is that, I don't know if you can hear this. I'm going to try and do it for you. I'll do it near my mic here one more time. As you open it, you can hear a really distinct noise, and that's because it has Teflon bushings again. This is something that I commented on the last D2 steel folder that we reviewed from Schrade, is I really want to see an upgrade in the washers that they're using on these Schrade knives. They have a lot of really good designs. They're starting to get into some premium materials, particularly in this blade, but nylon washers are not the way to go. They wear out, they're noisy, and they are not as smooth or as reliable in the long haul as brass or bronze washers. So that's something to note. There's Teflon in there, so it's kind of a gritty deployment. I mean, you know, I can obviously do it even without flicking my wrist. I can deploy that blade real nice and fast with those really good thumb studs, but it's just, if I can tell, and it's kind of annoying, and I don't like that nylon, those nylon bushings. Now, there are lots of other knives that have nylon bushings out there on the market that are actually within this price range, but these ones are just not done very well. And again, I would have liked to see, I mean, an Ontario Rat Model 1 can do, you know, bronze or brass bushings. So, I mean, this knife, which is, you know, almost triple the price, should definitely be able to do that. So, just something to note there. Good thumb studs, good fast, you know, deployment, but it's kind of gritty feeling and noisy because of the nylon bushings that they've decided to put in there. All right, guys, let's go ahead and talk about the blade performance. I'm going to roll in some footage here as we're talking just of how this blade has been performing for me. Again, quality, the design, and everything that we've just been looking at here today is really, really nice. I mean, it really reminds me a lot of my Benchmade Griptilian, just in the blade shape and just in the level of you know, detail that they take care of with this knife. And the blade itself has performed really well. Stabbing task, fantastic. It's got a very tough, durable tip. You're going to be able to get some really good stabbing, some really good penetration into whatever you may, you know, be needing to stab into, if that's what you're going to use this for. And you got really good lockup with the jimping. And that D2 steel is not going to mushroom on you or chip or break, and I was really happy with the stabbing performance. Rope cutting, you know, the hollow grind and how they've ground it in, it's not got a wide grind angle or anything. It's nice and sharp, going to fly through your nylon material without any sort of problem whatsoever, cutting seat belts or cutting paracord and those type of things. Cardboard cutting, you know, your average EDC. It is a little bit of a thicker blade, but with the hollow grind, it does a great job. You know, something like a Delica 4 or something like that that has a super thin full flat grind will do a little bit better with cardboard cutting, but not bad at all, and very similar performance to, again, a Benchmade Griptilian in its, you know, cutting capabilities, a full-size Griptilian. And then we did do some, you know, feather stick making and some wood processing, and it also did really great with that. So if you are wanting to maybe use this on a camping trip and carry this, you know, EDC, you know, and you're going to be doing some wood stuff, the blade, not only in the handle ergonomics, but in the blade itself, performed very well. The D2 steel is holding a phenomenal edge. The D2 that they're using is great, got a good heat treat, and it is not only tough with, again, those stabbing tasks that we put the knife through, but also with just the performance of edge retention, you know, and quality is really great. So the blade itself has performed outstanding, and for a larger 3.5-inch knife, great. All right, guys, I want to talk about a few things here in this shot, and the first thing is the quality, and give you the quality rating. The quality rating is 3.5 out of 5, and the reason for that really comes down to a point I'm going to talk about in just a moment. The good thing is, I mean, the centering is perfect. I've played with this and opened and closed it probably hundreds and hundreds of times on purpose to try and see if the blade would begin to, you know, drift from one side to the other. It's not. It's still dead center right down the middle. All of the angles are perfectly machined in, very nice and smooth. I mean, feels like a very good quality knife. The downside really comes for me, first off, with the bushings, like we already talked about, nylon versus brass or bronze, which would be a lot more durable and a lot smoother and just feel a lot better. But also with the frame lock, when it's engaged, it about half the time seems to kind of get stuck. And not that it drifts too far to one side or another, there's just like a little burr or something on the titanium that keeps it, and you can kind of hear that pop, and it just doesn't feel right, and it kind of catches, and I really got to put some effort on that frame lock. It just doesn't feel like, you know, my Kershaws, you know, and some other knives that I have out there that have a lot better, you know, frame locks. On the plus side, it is a very thick, sturdy frame lock. You're not worried about it, you know, deploying and catching on you. I mean, disengaging and, you know, the blade swinging back and hurting you. I mean, it's catching about 60% of the back of the spine there. So, I mean, that's all good. But when it really, there's something going on with this frame lock. Now, I don't know if that's just my model that was sent to me or if it's the, you know, overall how the design, there's just a little weirdness there. But the Teflon bushings and then that frame lock, and I've messed with it a lot to try and see if it would go away, and it just hasn't. So that's kind of, you know, disappointing to me. Hopefully in the future, maybe they'll get that worked out and machined down just a little bit on the frame lock, and then they'll upgrade the bearings and the bushings, you know, to something that's not, you know, Teflon or nylon. So hopefully in the future we'll see something like that. But overall, guys, not too bad. Just would like to see some improvements with a quality rating of 3.5 out of 5.
All right, guys, I want to talk value with you here real quick. What I see right now, the day I'm filming this, is going for $75 on Amazon. And for the materials, that's a great price. For D2 steel and for titanium handle scales, for 75 bucks, not bad at all, even though it is foreign produced. A US made knife like this would definitely be well over $100. So I think, you know, and with everything that we were talking about with quality a little bit earlier, the materials, the fit and finish is great. The little bit of a holdup, again, it comes down to the details. When you're talking about that price point, $75, it comes down to the details. And the details are in, I believe, the washers they're using and the slight catching with that frame lock. Now, again, the frame lock functions perfectly. You can disengage it every time. It doesn't, you know, float too far over back and forth, but you can hear it every time. This little pop is just a little annoying to me, and if I'm laying down $75, I would not want to hear that little noise and feel that every time I disengage the frame lock, and would want to know that I had better washers in there. So I'm going to ding it 1 point, guys. If it had those two differences, it would totally be a 5 out of 5. I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5 on the value rating for this Schrade.
Well, guys, it's time to bring this review for you to a close and talk about the likability on this knife. And I got to tell you, first off, it's just cool to see Schrade's progression, not only of design improvements, but also quality, since having started to review their products about 2 years ago when they got picked up by Taylor Brands. And Taylor Brands came in and kind of revamped a lot of designs, came out with a lot of designs. It's cool because every year I see their quality go up and I see their designs get better and better. So that's very cool to see a knife company not only listen to the consumers, but also listen to us YouTubers who are out here every week, you know, performing, testing, you know, reviewing gear, and then they take the feedback and they actually do something about it. They just don't go, oh, gee, thanks, whoosh, and, you know, and throw it on the shelf and they never look at it again. So I really like that aspect of Schrade a lot. So guys, I got to give you the likability. The likability on this knife for me is going to be a 3.5 out of 5. The real reason for that is it has nothing to do with the materials and has nothing to do with the design. The design is fantastic. The materials, both in the titanium handles as well as in the D2 steel, are fantastic. I'm so impressed. It really comes down for me to that the frame lock that keeps snagging, and there's just nothing that I can seem to do about it. And I have opened and closed this blade more times than I can count on purpose, you know, trying to get that either worn down or, you know, to kind of stop catching, but just that kind of click is somewhat annoying to me when I, you know, disengage the frame lock. And then whatever bushings that they're using in here, either the Teflon or nylon bushings, you know, even with dropping some gun oil in there, and they just are noisy, and, you know, they're just not as smooth as brass or bronze. So if they tweak those two things, just kind of fix that frame lock a little bit and, you know, upgrade the bushings, I'm telling you guys, this would probably be one of my favorite EDC blades, larger EDC blades that, you know, I have ever handled. I mean, this thing is phenomenal. The ergonomics are great. I love the blade shape. I love now that they're doing tip up, tip down with the pocket clip. I mean, everything about this knife has been, you know, in the design and materials has been hit, you know, perfect. It's just a little bit of tweaking with the bushings and that frame lock, and it'll be perfect. So, guys, I really hope that this video has helped you out with your purchasing decisions, showing you pros and cons of this knife that Schrade is producing, the top end of their, you know, high-end folders that they're producing right now. As always, check us out on Facebook, Twitter, all the relevant social media. Please subscribe, comment, like, share this video. Love to hear your guys' comments on this knife and other Schrade products and other products that we review. I always love to talk with you guys, the family that we have over here at Gideon's Tactical. And as always, remember, stay equipped, stay prepared, and we'll see you out there.